break from alcohol for 66 days. Could you possibly do it? Well, Tribe Sober founder Janet Gourand is encouraging sobriety in order for people to enjoy the joy of alcohol-free living. According to research, 20% of social drinkers will become dependent over the years, and it's so important just to test your dependency. Gourand joins me now to expand on these views. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time, Janet. This is a very difficult one for some people who really have a close relationship with their liquor. But I suppose the lockdown period and the hard measures that were put in place to restrict the sale of alcohol could have helped.
Yeah, well, we've discovered two angles from the lockdown. People that drank moderately within the safe limits, which are amazingly just a bottle and a half of wine or 6 beers a week, not a night, a week. People that drank moderately within those limits, they just didn't bother with it. You know, they didn't bother going out and finding alcohol when it was banned. But people that did have a bit of a dependence issue, they went out and stocked up big time. So many people have actually become more dependent over the lockdown. And we're saying to people, you know, we're not saying give up drinking. We're not the wine police. We're just saying take a break. You know, it's spring, it's summer. See it as a health kick. And just see, you know, can you do 66 days? If you can, then that's amazing. And you'll feel great. And you obviously have a very healthy relationship with alcohol. But if you can't, or if you're watching this and saying, that woman's crazy, no way could I do 66 days, then you need to do the challenge. So we're quite excited. This is the 4th year we've done this here at Tribe Sober. It starts on Monday. We put everybody on our Sober Spring bus, as we call it. They depart on Monday, and everybody travels through those 66 days together. And there's a beautiful vibe, you know, everybody's encouraging each other, and sure enough, 1 or 2 people will fall off the bus, as we put it, and have a little slip up, but the others will all encourage them to get back on. And we give people a tracker, and we say, you know, fill in every alcohol-free day that you manage. And sure, you know, not everybody will make 66 days, but at least you're raising your awareness of your relationship with alcohol. And as you said in the intro, you know, many of us have a far too close relationship with alcohol, and 20% of us social drinkers will become dependent. And it creeps up on you over the years, and that's what happens to me, and that's why I'm trying to help other people to recognize it.
Janet, you put the spotlight upon yourself, and you speak about how you ended up, you know, having to rethink your life and prioritize your health. Tell us about how Tribe Sober came about and your personal experience, your wake-up call that led you to this initiative.
Sure. I mean, my relationship with alcohol was pretty typical, I think, of, you know, women my age. In my 20s and 30s, I was a social drinker. I would go over the top sometimes. I was always quite an enthusiastic drinker, but, you know, I managed to keep it all in control. But then in my 40s and 50s, my relationship changed. It became more of a coping mechanism. I'd come home from work, open the wine, and that was it, you know, for the evening, at least that bottle gone, if not more at the weekends, you know, socializing, drinking more. And the only time that I realized that this was a problem was that when I tried to cut down, because I knew I had a problem with alcohol for decades. But I thought, okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to start drinking within those low-risk limits that I keep hearing about. And I couldn't, and I just couldn't. And I tried, and I failed, and I tried, and I failed. And finally, I accepted that I'd crossed a line with my drinking, so I would have to ditch the stuff completely. So then, you know, I had to go about finding how, because it's all very well knowing that you drink too much, but how on earth do you make that change? So I trotted along to AA, and it just didn't work for me. I found it all rather gloomy and depressing. I didn't want to label myself an alcoholic or go to meetings for the rest of my life. So I found a one-day workshop in London, which is where I'm from originally, and that worked for me. And the reason it worked for me, I mean, they gave us tools which were useful, but I met other people like me, you know, other women with good jobs, nice families that were drinking at least a bottle and a half of wine a night. And I connected with those people, and I got sober, and we stayed in touch, still in touch 6 years later. And then it came to me that as I've got a professional background in training and development, I could design a workshop myself, because there was nothing in South Africa apart from AA. So I designed a workshop, and we ran our first workshop in 2015. And now we actually run them on Zoom for obvious reasons, but we've run 65 workshops, we've helped hundreds of people, and so we do workshops, challenges, and we also do one-to-one coaching. So we're all about community, really, because connection is the opposite of addiction, and you need to be with people that understand you, people that understand, no, actually, you can't just have one glass of wine.
You raise an important part here where you say that you didn't want to label yourself an alcoholic. And I suppose this is something that many within the very position can relate to, not wanting to label themselves alcoholics, but recognize that there is indeed a problem. So how does the 66-day challenge work? I mean, what are the highs and lows, and how does one really get to a point where they're able to control their liquor or not drink at all?
Well, the challenge works, but we offer plenty of support during those 66 days, obviously. The community is the heart of it, so the fact that you're with a group of people doing this is the heart of it. But we also send you a daily email full of tips, tools, strategies, an email you can reply to and come directly to me with feedback, questions. And because we have a podcast these days, we have a Tribe Sober podcast that goes out every week. We've created 66 mini podcasts. So those little 5-minute audios, they explain to you the healing that's taking place in your body and brain as you go through. So, you know, we're saying to people, go through those 66 days, see what it's like for you. And then at the end of the 66 days, we get different reactions. You know, some people, quite a few people say, I feel amazing. I'm never going to touch alcohol anymore because it doesn't add anything to my life. I'm so much happier and less anxious without it. So there's those people, and then there's other people that say, oh, you know, I tried so hard and I just couldn't do it. And those people obviously need a bit more support, and we can offer that to them. And but there are so many benefits. Yeah. Excuse me. Carry on.
Sorry, Janet. And let's talk a little bit about the sort of mindset that you need to be in to start the project to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, mindset is such a key word, because it's not about willpower, because that's where I got unstuck all those years when I was trying to moderate. I was using willpower. What you need to do is change the way that you see drinking, because from a very early age, you know, we're brainwashed, aren't we, by the marketing industry, the liquor industry. Alcohol is something that we have to have in our life, you know, or it won't be a complete life. And then we've got all of our friends, you know. Everybody that has tried to stop drinking for a while will have had to put up with, oh, well, you're boring, what's the problem? We've got all that peer pressure. So we have to take a step back from that and start seeing alcohol differently. Start realizing, you know, it's a toxin and it's poisoning our bodies and it's hurting our brains. And mindset is everything. And once you see that it's not adding anything to your life, in fact, it's taking away your health and your sanity sometimes if it gets too extreme. Once you start seeing it like that, it's actually easy. And the hundreds of people that we've helped, the pattern seems to be, you have to, you know, if you've got an issue like I had, you really have to make it a priority for at least 6 months. You know, you have to read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, connect with the community, and then you're kind of done. You know, you don't have to, it's not a lifelong issue. If you give it your all, you can nail this thing in a few months.
Some encouraging words. Thank you so much, Janet, for your time. Tribe Sober founder Janet Gourand giving some words of encouragement to stay sober with a 66-day challenge that can change your life.